Welcome to Grocery from Her Seat, the WGA podcast offering a unique perspective as seen through the eyes of remarkable women who shape and lead in the independent grocery industry. Your host, Kristin Popp, president of WGA, will bring you exclusive stories and insights from the women serving our industry, from presidents to CEOs to entrepreneurs and students. This podcast is your source of information. Now listen, take notes, and welcome Kristin Popp.
Hello, I am your host, Kristin Popp, and today I have the opportunity to chat with Heidi Huff, Senior Vice President of Consumer Engagement with Alliance Retail Group. Welcome to Grocery from Your Seat, Heidi, and thank you so very much for sharing your time with us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Heidi, I'm going to go ahead and let you do a bigger introduction of yourself, your role, and we've talked about that's a broad title, so I want everybody to understand what your role, what that means, and what your responsibilities are, and then kind of dive into how you got involved in the independent grocery industry.
Like you said, I am with Alliance Retail Group, and my specific role is really around our in-store media network. So for those that don't know who Alliance Retail Group is, we are the largest self-negotiating ad group in the country for independents. We also have a full-fledged technology side of our business, and we have a full soup to nuts marketing agency in our business. We have created an opportunity for retailers and for CPG companies to engage with each other, and then of course the shoppers of those independents, to everything from ad to shelf and all the things in between.
Wow, and retail media, such the buzzword and such a hot topic in the industries. Love the work and the capabilities that you bring.
Oh, absolutely. We're very excited about it.
I want to go ahead and start with something that I know both of us have a lot of passion around, and that's the importance of relationships and networking. From your perspective, what role do relationships have in our industry?
I think they're absolutely invaluable. 2 days ago, sitting with one of our vendor partners, and we had this big conversation about relationships and about how, that the line, you want to do business with people that you like people, you understand them. There's that extra willingness to try a little bit more, do a little bit more for them. Oh, I like that person. I'll be willing to go that extra step. And so I think that only comes when you spend time networking and building those relationships.
I want to do business with somebody that I like, that I want, that I know will support me back in the same way that I can support them. And it's kind of a mutual commitment then at that point. And you know that you can lean into them at any point, and then they can lean into you too. So it goes beyond just that business relationship as well.
Right. Well, and then it also builds that trust. Everybody's trying to run a business, right? But you know that if you have that relationship and that trust, then you know that that's going to be a good business relationship even beyond that. But that's so important. It's so important to be able to trust the people that you do business with.
Yeah, I like that you touch on trust. You also touched on networking. And do you have any advice on how to do that effectively?
Yeah, I think it's really important that you are your authentic self. So when you walk into any sort of networking situation or opportunity to network, you just need to be you. And you can't start with a hard sell. People out there that are like, I'm going to this event because I'm going to walk out with 6 new leads. I think that's not necessarily a healthy way to go about it, but I think it also can be a real big turnoff for people too. So a lot of times it's more of a soft sell, if you will. So you go in, build a relationship, then people are much more open to have the conversation about your business and what you have to offer. Again, go back to, they like you, they connect with you, they feel like, yeah, I could do business with this person. But, out of the gate, if somebody says, hi, I want your business, here's my card, call me, let's set up a time, this is what we do, this is what we sell, this is what we want to sell for you or to you. That's a big turnoff, I think.
I agree with you. And I think when you go back to talking about relationships, right, you got to build the relationship and the trust, and then that gets you to that trusting spot to, okay, let's do business together. What does that look like?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be a year-long process to make that happen, but that initial meeting needs to be a little bit, I guess, softer. I like to use that term. So get to know me. Let me get to know you, or tell me more about your business rather than just launch into, let me tell you about what I can do for you.
Right. And see if there even is an opportunity for us to do business together. What does that look like?
Well, and to that end, when you build those relationships, you and I might not have business together, but now that I know what your business is and what you do, I may be able to say, oh, hey, Susie, you need to talk to Kristin because I think you guys could really do some good business together. When that networking turns into introductions, that's going to go a lot farther than a cold call. So that's really so beneficial. So really, again, getting to know people. If you and I can't do business together, that's not the end of the world because I may know somebody I can introduce you to.
Great points. Shifting gears a little bit, you've been in the industry for a minute. We talked about a little bit, you kind of touched on what inspired you to get involved in the grocery, but what has kept you in the business?
So I sort of fell into the grocery business. I was in the restaurant retail and it was through networking, frankly, somebody that was in my network that I said, I just want to pick your brain. I'm looking to move. And he said, I think we have a place for you here. So again, that's that networking is how I ended up in the grocery business. I immediately fell in love with it, helping, small mom and pops to third generation family businesses to even, the larger regional chains that are still independent is so important. I really do like the grocery business. My true passion is really being so closely connected with the retailers. So I was with IGA for a very long time and loved what I did there. And so wanted to continue in that same vein of I could pick up the phone and talk to retailers today. I love the CPG industry. How can I connect them to the independents so that everybody can succeed? And so I've been able to continue that type of relationship. And really that is my passion here at ARG.
So when you look at the industry today, what do you feel is the greatest opportunity that we face as an industry?
Really, our greatest opportunity is being able to be nimble. Because we are smaller, because we have this opportunity to say, ooh, I could try that. Test and learn is really a lot easier in the independent space. And we try to really take advantage of that, working with retailers and helping them do that. And then we say, oh, here, this worked great. And then we spread that to the rest of our retail business. But, and if it didn't, no harm, no foul. And then we move on.
I think the ability to try something and pivot quickly is something that we can do very well. As we look at the industry and kind of the future of the industry, what excites you the most?
I feel like the world is our oyster. We just have to, as independents, listen and implement. You see, a new generation of retailer. So ones that see how technology can be beneficial while still keeping that personal touch. And so shoppers are changing. I think that every generation of shopper is different. And now we have, 4 generations of shoppers in the grocery store right now, and every one of them is extremely different. I get really excited about the Z that's coming up in shopping because I think the way that they look at things is pretty simple. And they kind of sit back and they like a simpler piece of life. I think that definitely can benefit independents if they understand how to market to Generation Z. We're going to have challenges. We always have challenges. We've had challenges from day one. So, and we made it this far. So I think we're going to be just fine. I think just as long as we listen to each other, do our research, willing to try new things, which can always be scary. But it can also really pay off and be very beneficial.
And I like that you bring up the generations because I think we are seeing a significant shift in, I think both from the consumer side, but also the employee side. And so I am also excited to see what that looks like going forward because I think change can be somewhat intimidating, but I think that the new perspectives and kind of that shift in what we're seeing is also exciting. And so I'm here for it and ready to see what that brings to the industry. What advice do you have to share with others that would be aspiring to join or looking to continue their career journey in the industry?
Oh my gosh, do it.
I love it. Yes, just do it.
It's why I'm so passionate about, being part of WGA and when we talk to students and stuff, it's like the grocery industry is so amazing. It's so much bigger than just what you see at your local grocery store. And that's, a lot of people, that's all they know. People will always need groceries. So that's always, a good thing for job security. Definitely think about think about the grocery business, because it's bigger than, again, just the four walls of that store that you and your parents shop at.
No, absolutely. And I think I just actually had this conversation about, there's so much behind and such a wide variety of opportunities. I think when you think about grocery, you think about checking out groceries or stocking the shelves, but you get into IT, you get into marketing, you get into accounting, you get into finance, you get into HR. I mean, the sky's really the limit. The opportunities can be endless. So let's talk legacy. Where do you hope to leave the greatest impact, and why is that important to you?
Wow. If I am to finish my career here at Alliance, I think that the projects that I'm working on now and things like that, where it makes it better for the independent to do business, they can compete. We are continuing to grow a virtual chain of independent retailers, connecting the CPGs to the independents. If we can continue to build things like that, I will feel really good on my retirement day. The other thing I think that's really important is, for whatever reason, this personal mission to get CPGs and the people, it's not necessarily the whole company, but individual people, to understand what the independent space has to offer. If you're new to the business, or you work at a CPG and you started on the Walmart business, or you worked for a big retailer, and now through your career path, you're working on the independent side, it's really important, I think, for people to understand how awesome that is, how great the independents are and can be, and to see the opportunity and the value there. So what I'm doing today, I hope that I continue to create and leave programs and process that do nothing but benefit our independent retailers, and then, of course, the CPG companies that we work with. Personally, I want to make sure that every person understands how awesome, cool, and beneficial it is.
I love that and personal mission there of understanding the impact and really just the difference that the independent has in the communities that they're a part of, and as a whole holds a special place in my heart as well. Heidi, you and I obviously are very connected to the women grocers, and you touched on it earlier. Can you just touch on the impact that's left on you and the excitement that you bring to that initiative to help support females in the industry?
Well, I've been in WGA for a very long time, and the one red thread through the entire thing has been the connection of strong, amazing women. It's that connection with strong women that have lifted each other up. And I think that is amazing. In this industry, we need to be there for each other. Just in life, we need to be there for each other. But especially in an industry which traditionally has been male dominated. So it's a little bit harder sometimes for women to get in there. But to be able to support each other and teach each other and learn, and that has always been there. And so is why I've continued to stay, why I joined the board, why I want to continue, leading and helping you and others on the board grow. As we've grown, especially over the last handful of years, the scholarships so that people can continue to educate themselves in the grocery space, or putting together the group, EXFL, now the symposium, and again, really being able to tackle some of the bigger questions that we have when we go to work every day. What is, how do I do this? How do I get on a board? How do I support my people better? How can I be a mentor? I want to be mentored. All of those things. Where else would you go and ask those questions? Stuff like that really kind of rubs my engines, if you will, and being able, because I have questions too, so can we bring all of this together and help each other? Because again, being able to be there for each other and lift each other up and celebrate the big wins, but also support each other when we have questions or hard days or hard times in our job, and what do we do next? And it becomes this network.
I know we've talked about that in the past, but creating the space to allow for it to happen, and amazing things happen that allow us to all to work better together when you can support individuals and their unique needs. And so very rewarding to be a part of such a great initiative. Was there anyone along your journey who has had a significant impact, and in what way did they impact you?
I've had quite a few, but one that always sticks out when I get asked this question was early on in my career. I had my boss, I was pretty young and immature. I will admit that, we all are, but I learned a lot from her. She was kind of hard, but she also didn't give up on me. So I went through some hard times with her, but I look back on that and I think, I really learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about being an adult with a job, a career job. When I think back on things that stick out that were pivotal to me, it really was things where I had bosses or supervisors or experiences where it was like this aha moment of, I need to do this right. I feel like those have been more impactful to me, those experiences that were hard at the time. Was I mad, or did I cry, or did I, I don't know what I'm doing here? Probably. But when I really sat and thought about it, said, gosh, she was right on that, or I learned from that. And so I think I've taken a lot of that forward with me. So Julie, thank you for not giving up on me and really trying, and because I think that has definitely made me a better person, a better employee, and a better worker.
Those difficult times, and sometimes when you're in them, they can be very hard to understand and process through, but when you can go back and do some self-reflection and understand how that's helped you grow as a person, as an individual, I think that's very rewarding.
Thank you, Julie.
Heidi, as we like to wrap up our conversation today, is there any advice or anything that we didn't talk about specific to women or females in the industry that you would give as they look to the future of their careers and just building out their journey?
Yeah, be you and be confident. And I do think social media has made that very hard. Women need to feel strong about who they are. Recognize their talents and their gifts. They are great. Look at your strengths and be confident about that. And don't let other people tell you what you should or shouldn't be. And I think that when you have that inner confidence, it shows. People want to be around a person that is self-confident and stand strong in their convictions, and be appropriately confident in a business space. Our friend Bridget would tell us that, but I think that that's important as you move forward in your career, because that's how you're going to move forward in your career. People are going to see that. Some people call it quiet confidence, but I'm pretty loud, so I don't know if anybody would ever say that about me. But I think it's important to do that and kind of be like, yeah, you guys can think what you want. I know who I am. I know that I feel good about myself. I know that I feel good about what I'm doing in business, and find other people to help support you in that. And if you're not confident yet, find people to help you get there. Because I think that, that's find your tribe, and that's how you're going to get there. So it's really important, regardless of what business you're in, that you can figure out that confidence, how you speak, how you hold yourself, what you wear, how you show yourself to the world. That's a really important piece. And I tell people a lot, and I am happy to have conversations with anybody who wants to about that. And I would be happy to help anybody get there, because I think it's so important.
I couldn't agree more. That's great advice. And I think, appropriate confidence, and that will propel you forward in any area of your life. So great advice, Heidi. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your thoughts with us today. And I appreciate you, your story, and your contribution to the industry. Thank you for your valuable insights, and I look forward to continue watching you make a difference in all you do.
Well, thank you, Kristin. It has been wonderful to be here, and thank you for all that you do.
On behalf of the Women Grocers of America, we thank you for listening to our podcast today and ask that you subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share with a friend. If you have a suggestion for a guest from the industry, mention them in the comments. Episodes are released every other week, and they are sponsored by NGA, hosted by Kristin Popp, president of WGA, and published by Rachel Milo with SWA Marketing.